Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Nick930 and this is the video review for Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Uncharted 4 has now been out for a full week and I've had enough time to go through the full campaign, and I'm happy to say that Uncharted 4 is just amazing. I mean, this might actually be my favorite game of all time now, which is saying something considering games like BioShock, The Last of Us, and Red Dead Redemption are pretty much at the top of that list. So, let's start off by talking about the game's story in a way that's completely spoiler-free. The last thing I want to do is spoil this for anybody. What I can say is that Naughty Dog has learned a lot from making The Last of Us. The voice acting, the writing, everything is just absolutely top-notch, and there's more character behind Nathan Drake than we've ever seen before in the old games. Unlike The Last of Us, though, we actually get some emotional range here. The story has its tense emotional moments, but it also can be really fun and lighthearted. The Uncharted franchise has always strived to be an action movie that you can actually play, and in most ways, it's succeeded, but this game perfectly captures that top-notch summer blockbuster movie. The action, the drama, and even the romance, it's all in this game, and I have not seen a game ever pull it off like this one. And again, to avoid any chance of spoilers here, I can say I was really happy with the ending. Okay, so let's talk about the real meat of the game, the actual gameplay. Uncharted 4 takes everything that it's learned from the other Uncharted games and makes it way better. The animations make it so Drake's movements are a lot smoother. Drake will now reach out for rocks and pull himself up rather than him just hopping around like a crazy person. They also added in a bunch of brand new moves, like the ability to use a rope to swing across from ledges, the ability to slide down muddy slopes and jump off of them, and they also added in a type of rock pick that you could use to climb up the sides of some of the flat surfaces on the side of mountains. Along with these smaller tools, Drake also has access to some vehicles for the first time in the series that aren't just part of action sequences. In a couple of the larger chapters in the game, you can actually drive these vehicles around and get in, get out, and actually explore, look for treasure, and play a lot of the story using them. And thanks to the addition of all these new tools, including the vehicles, the map design had a huge overhaul. I mean, these are huge maps, much more open-ended with lots of alternate paths and more vertical gameplay, I noticed. The new tools also play a large part in the game's puzzles too, allowing for some pretty creative tricks like using the winch on the Jeep to climb up a really slippery slope. The combat was also completely revamped and plays way better than it used to. The stealth mechanics were improved drastically, and combat areas take full advantage of the new climbing moves, allowing for some of the coolest action sequences I've ever seen. Movement from cover to cover feels a lot smoother, melee combat isn't as much of a quick-time event, and the set action pieces, a staple of the franchise, don't disappoint. I mean, these have got to be the most exciting segments of an action game ever. Okay, so let's talk about these insane graphics we're seeing right here. These have got to be the best visuals I have ever seen in a video game. I mean, look at this. Naughty Dog has managed to make the best looking video game of all time on a system that's not even as powerful as my gaming PC. I mean, they've got volumetric lighting, lots of particle effects, tons of dynamic objects, and even foliage that reacts to not just the player, but other objects. I mean, I have not seen that level of detail and attention in a game ever before. The game runs at 1080p with a locked 30 frames per second, which at first I was pretty worried about, but after getting a chance to actually play through this game, I'm happy to say that it felt really smooth and it looked perfect. I had rare instances of frame rates actually dropping, but thankfully these only occurred during the more cinematic moments where I didn't even have control of my character anyway. That being said, the multiplayer actually runs at a smooth 60 frames per second at 1080, but the level of detail is definitely not the same as the single player. I mean, you've got very bland environments, and the lighting just isn't even close to how good it looks in the single player. But this is okay, because the multiplayer actually makes up for it with some really good competitive gameplay that mixes together the movement that they added into the game with all the stuff they learned from The Last of Us multiplayer. I mean, if you've ever played The Last of Us multiplayer, it's excellent. It's very balanced, the loadout system is great, and it's just fun to play. This game borrows a lot from that multiplayer, it seems. I mean, they've got the same exact loadout system. It lets you pick the weapons and the equipment using loadout points so that nobody ever seems overpowered. And they also have the same kind of money system they have during matches where you earn money by getting kills and you spend that money in the match on upgrades like more ammo, armor, stuff like that. So it works out because the gameplay is a lot faster than in The Last of Us, but the same balancing and design still works perfectly for this kind of gameplay. I mean, instead of buying, let's say, a really high-powered sniper rifle like you would in The Last of Us, you can buy something crazy like El Dorado and have that spawn in, and it'll do a bunch of damage to enemies nearby. So, I mean, this is the first time I actually played this multiplayer in this video I'm showing here, and I had a lot of fun with the match I was playing. It was really close. The team I was playing with, everyone seemed to be working together. Same with their team. I mean, the score was close the entire round. It's definitely a mode I'm looking forward to going back to, because that was actually a lot of fun to play. And that just about wraps it up. This game is absolutely worth the full $60 price, especially if you are an Uncharted fan. Not only is this the best game you can play on the PS4, I'm pretty sure this is the best game available, period. Please check this out. It is totally worth it. And thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.